Yeah, the old clock on the wall says it's 10 a.m., so I'm going live. This is one of those days. Last night, I redrew page 65, and it's in my sketchbook. And so what I'm going to do today is I'm going to scan what I did in the sketchbook, and I'm going to import it into Photoshop, and I'm going to clean it up and develop it today. It may take a couple of days to do this. Isn't that exciting? Yeah, right, baby? Sweetheart, isn't that exciting? Very exciting. Okay, so this is Blue Boy Brown, Adventures of Hamlet. Welcome all you out there in the wonderful world. I noticed that we have new pages out at Blue Boy Brown. 3 pages, page 62, 63, 64. Lots of drama going on. Already got one visitor from Ireland. Wonderful to have people from Ireland. And because it's probably in the afternoon there. Yeah, it's in the afternoon there. So I don't know what's going on in the afternoon in Ireland. And I have visitors from Italy. I know I have at least an old student of mine who's in Florence that might see my stuff occasionally. That's nice. Great person. More talented you can shake a stick at. Dad, gun, that guy can paint and draw. But he's a painter. He's not a comic book guy. So let's see. I'll go full screen, and then I'll get out of that screen there. This screen, and no, that's not what I wanted to do. Get rid of that. Now here is my template for. Oh, stop that. This is a template for my pages. This is the right inside page. I'm on page 65 I'm doing, so that's going to be on the right side of the page, unless I'm going nuts. I'm going to keep it that way. It's, left and right, left and right, left and right. So now I need to, I already got this set up because I want to make sure it actually would work. Here's my sketchbook. It is turned on its side so I can get the whole thing in. I'm going to import it at 300 dots per inch. I got to rename it. It's page 065 sketch. Okay, and it's a TIFF file. And so I've already selected where I'm going to do it, so I'm going to scan this thing. And now it's going. So even though it's probably not something you'll lay awake at night wondering, you can see how I put together a page. This isn't necessarily the way I do it every time. Sometimes I put the whole thing, well, most of the time I put the whole thing on a piece of Bristol board. But this is just a redraw. So I'm gonna take this image. Okay, I don't have to worry about that. Take this image, and I'm going to I'm going to rotate it. I rotate it 90% clockwise. Okay, now I got it like that. So I'll make it a little bit smaller, and then I'll make it about 6.25 inches. That's about right. 6.25. Okay. Okay. So now I'm gonna select it all, copy it all, and then place it not here, there. Yeah, I got a different profile and everything like that. See what it looks like. Okay, not bad. So if I increase the size a little bit, I've got the, wrong one. Hold on. And put the shift key on. Bring that over there. There's the tiniest bit. And what I'll do is I'll play around with it, apply the transformation. Okay, so now I already have a border set up, so all I have to do is I have to move that border. This is for, I had this on another page, so this is on, I'll just move those borders. Move them up here. I have to lock everything else, otherwise it'll just start messing with me. Lock. Okay, now I just move my borders. I don't need this. Okay. Don't need this anymore. Not for this one. Better. Need to increase the size of this thing. Makes it easier to see it. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can move that down a bit. I don't want to. Okay. Move that over a bit, and then I'm going to delete it. Okay, got rid of that. So that's done. Now I have to take this part, right here, bring that up a little bit, and then move it down. To right about here. I can enlarge it a little bit so I don't have problems. And then I do that. Oh, always having that problem. Okay, now then I deselect it. Then, okay, now I can lock this, but I'm not going to need it to adjust it anymore. Okay, that doesn't look too bad. So, now it's a matter of taking this layer, which is just call this line art. I've got a background layer and probably a good idea. It's not that big a deal. Yeah, I should do it. To add another layer, fill it with white. So if I decide to erase use the eraser, I don't get my template text in the background, which is annoying. So I'll just, let's call this white. I'll lock that. And then I'll take this and I will mess with its levels so that I get rid of that cream colored page, get it a little more. Okay, a little more like that. A little more like that. A little more like that. Let me see what I get. Okay. So there's lots of cleaning up to do. A whole lot of cleaning up. Huh. So then what I usually do is I change the mode to grayscale, don't flatten, throw away the color information to actually see what I need to clean up. Okay, then I bring it back to CMYK. I don't flatten it. Okay. Then I start cleaning up. So here we have Leroy's got himself impaled by our little buddy Leroy. He thought he's going to kill Leroy. It's not going to work out that way. And so I sat around doing this in my sketchbook last night. Now I got to do a lot of cleaning up. And this is mainly the way I usually do comics, except it's usually a bristle board that I've done, and not just my sketchbook. I just decided to do this because I can clean it up and fix it up pretty easily in Facebook, and it won't be too big a problem. If it lets me, I had all types of technical difficulties the first several weeks of doing this broadcast, and I finally discovered what the heck it was. It was Bluetooth. Using Bluetooth for the Wacom tablet caused all types of problems, which I was not aware of. And now I'm aware of it because I decided that I was going to use the USB connection for the tablet, and now I don't have these problems. Problems all went away. So logic tells me it was the Bluetooth interfering with the operations of this and that. Now I have hardly any technical problems, and I'm kind of happy about that. I got really tired of my Wacom tablet just kind of disappearing on me. So now I just have to do this. That's a lot better. Except for a long time, I was using that USB port for a Apple keyboard, which I prefer to a laptop keyboard by a long shot. But now I'm reduced to using just the laptop keyboard, which is not going to kill me, but every once in a while, yeah. My setup is right within reach is my Apple keyboard, but I have to stretch and sit up straight and all that other stuff to get to to the laptop keyboard. Who wants to do that? So now I just have to take this and refine all this stuff. Probably open up a layer above it. Probably should. This is a tendency that I'm going to put it back to grayscale mode because you get a slight blue cast to anything that you dodge, and it's not cool. It just later on in the coloring you're going to have problems. So now I need to probably lower the I'm probably going to want to mess around with those, all this gray. I'm not a big fan of gray, which is only a combination of black and white. I prefer chromatic neutrals. You've been following what I'm doing. I prefer to make gray out of color, not out of black and white, because then it has a temperature and you can play around with it. It also interacts with other colors. Whereas gray, that's made from black and white, only has one thing it can do, and that's become either warm or cool. If it's next to cool colors, it'll become a warm color. It'll have a warm cast. And if it is next to a cool color, it'll have a warm cast, and next to a warm color, it'll have a cool cast. And that's about all I can do. And so that's not much. And I would rather it interact with other colors. And also, gray has a tendency to muddy up colors. Just like if you just keep on adding black to a pure color, you're going to get a shade, and it's eventually going to become an uninteresting blob. Okay, let's very carefully get this guy's face fixed up. Maybe lighten that a little bit. It doesn't need to be so intense. Okay. Okay. Okay, now, here's a good part about this, that if you are careful and you clean up all of these areas where you just were searching for the form and sketching, then you can get these much simpler contours, and from those contours you can create much more efficient, simple drawings, which is what my goal is. What I do here with this guy's hand, hard to see. I should, let me get the actual drawing out. Take it off the old scanner and see what I was actually doing. What was I actually doing? Oh yeah, now I see what it is. Okay. Okay, that's his thumb right there, and that's his fingers, so that's good. And I'll just keep whatever's back there dark so that that doesn't fall out. And this guy is pointing at the culprit. Eventually I went to draw for most of this stuff. Very carefully, probably on another layer. So now is where the drama really begins. I've been working on this story for a long time. And I've worked up, this is something I learned from reading a lot of really good authors. That's how you learn to write, is you look at authors and say, what are they doing? Exactly what are they up to? And what I have developed, mine alone, is you create a series of subplots within the plot that eventually meet and become the backstory for the main dramatic conflict that is the story. And so, there are little human interest stories in this that lend it, a humanity to it, that it's, everybody's just had these things of falling in love and not being loved, or having it start out kind of squirrely and then it turns into something, or who knows what the heck happens, or somebody doesn't even notice what's going on, which is what's going on with Blue Boy and Magnolia, and he doesn't even know what's going on. To him, he's more interested in how he become a good lumberjack and training his dogs how to hunt. He's really into his dogs. Okay, and his hand is going to come up there. I might have to draw the hand in there a little bit, but that's a little bit later. And one of the neat things about this is that with this dodge tool, which is originally meant for photography, is that you can design the thickness or thinness of these lines, make them a little more, much less like scratches instead of actual lines. And this is down here, you gotta be real careful because this is something of a silhouette, so that we have all seen the shape of the pike poles. We know that there is a hook that comes out of it, which we assume is used to hook logs, and it stops the entry of that pole tip into poor old Clifford's back. We got to make that into a silhouette. We don't need to define it too much. Bring this down a tiny bit. Yeah. Yeah. Redraw that a little bit later. And okay, we got this going on up here. Gotta probably, let me see. I gotta get, oh no, that comes across there. Okay, I have to get rid of. That's not a big problem. I'll draw that over there. That's no big deal. Okay. Remember what I actually did. Then more rain. Rain, 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 rain. It's gonna rain all week long. Rainy season's here. Understand what came to Florida. I was here for a week, rained every day. Usually, but it was usually like 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Okay, let's clean this up over here. Just kind of mess with it from the top down. If you're real light with the pressure, you can get it to where it's, you can clean all this area up. Then clean up a little bit of Leroy's face. If you see his old face, you probably see that look on his face. It says, uh-oh, I just stepped in it big time. And I'll probably have to redraw that entire area. It's not that well defined and well drawn. Got me there though. It'll help that I've given him an atypical coloring to his costume, so everybody's going to know that that's him. Once I get all this cleaned up, I can start redrawing and strengthening areas that need definition. Now, lots of this is going to need redrawing. Like that's going to need a lot right here. Yeah, this whole area is just going to have to be redrawn. That's okay though. That's what sketchbooks are all about. Parts of it won't need much. Like this guy here won't need much. This guy here, maybe this guy here, I'll play around with that. He'll need some redrawing. Clifford's in pretty good shape because I really concentrated on him last night. I went through a lot of permutations for this, a lot of erasing, a lot of drawing and erasing, drawing, erasing, drawing, erasing. And line thickness and color will take care of the creation of the space. But you understand what's going on. Here's Clifford's suspenders are a little bit unsuspending. Okay. Okay, let me see what's underneath all this. Oh, yeah. Okay. And clean up that edge right there where the pike pole goes in. Clean up that edge so it's real clear what's going on. Okay. Maybe give this a little less. Make this a little less strong. I can do that later though. Okay. Okay, a little bit of that. Okay, over there. Now we go down to the rocks. Now what I'll do when I clean all this up is I'll make a new layer on top that is a multiply mode, and I'll draw on top of this. And I don't like to just do a gray it out and then draw on top of it, because then there are some good things in a sketch that you want to keep. Why should you have to redo it? And the things I don't like in the sketch, I just go down into that layer and erase it. Leave my redraw, which is not, well, see, it's served me in the past. To see if it serves me today. Like right now, you got real fuzzy, almost dry point lines here. You may not want them to be as fuzzy. You may want them to be more like engraving. So we'll see whether or not I can pull that off. I've been able to in the past, and I've got a really cool watercolor brush that I have got in my toolbox here that gives you really nice lines with varying thickness and thinness. And I'll probably use that for the drawing over this. I got to do the whole thing. I got to do the bottom one also. Who knows? This might take a couple of days. And I got a million of these things to do. Dang, I am only on page 65, 148 pages. And I only started doing these, I believe, page 53. That's when I started my live streams. With that, I was just putting them up and hoping people would go see them. Now I think this is a better way to introduce the whole thing to everybody, because I'm going to be doing. If I have 9 of these books, and they're all approximately 150 pages each, that is 1,350 pages. I'm sure I'll expand that probably. So I've got an awful lot of stuff to do in the next 10 years or so. Hopefully I will not spend 2 years on each book like I did this one, but this is my first book. This is coming back after 40-something years out of comics, doing other things, and then getting my chops back. I think I have more chops now than I had back when I was doing comics back in the 70s. A lot more chops. I'm faster too. I actually produce work a lot faster. I have a lot more knowledge about how to make art than I did when I was 20. 46 years ago, I was just a pup. Not that long out of high school. And nobody knew, none of my compadres knew what the heck they were doing any more than I did. And we were all living through the early 70s, which is a strange time in history, really strange. We were all PO'd at everything. Everybody's PO'd. Oh well. You almost have to be there. An old friend of mine said, if you remember the 70s, you weren't there. It was a fuzzy time. I'm just glad I survived it. So many of my friends didn't. Okay. Well, let me see. What do we have up here? I want to just slightly, up this tree limb here, I want to slightly lighten it. I want to slightly lighten this guy's face because I'm going to redraw some of it. And I'm going to bring this down here, and I'm going to redraw that hand. It's just a placeholder mostly. Gotta clean up. Let me see if I can do that. Clean up that edge there. If you can see what I'm doing. If you're on a desktop, a laptop, you probably have a better idea where this mouse is running off to all the time. But if you're on the phone, you're probably saying, what is he doing? Oh, what's that? Nope, I didn't want that. Instead, I guess, getting a display tablet, which I looked at a lot. I looked at X-Pen. At this time in my life as a retiree, don't think it's a good idea to go buy a $1,600 display tablet or a $3,200 display tablet. That's just not doable. So, but three reports I've read on the effect of blue light, which is what comes out of computer screens on your retina, are not much fun. And I'm 67. And I'm a diabetic. So there's always problems with the eyes. I'm taking beta carotene and I'm watching my blood sugar like a hawk. And and I know enough about Mary Cassatt and Edgar Degas going blind in their later years to know that anything that messes with my eyesight, I'm not doing it. So I'm not going to be able to get a Wacom tablet or an X-Pen or any of that stuff because that blue light messes with your retina, and then it's not reparable. You can't repair it. Once it's gone, you've been had. So I'm keeping everything in sketchbook and on Bristolboard, and I bought myself an Epson 11 by 17 inch scanner, and that is as far as I'm going into the digital revolution. That's what I'm doing. I'm not going to mess with anything else. I've got years and years and years of this ahead of me. I have a beautiful story that I'm going to be telling. Absolutely beautiful. I have, if you're an artist, especially if you're an artist and a writer, when these characters start to develop and you know that they sort of like take over, say, what are you trying to tell me? Oh, that, yeah, okay. And you basically start obeying the characters. And then, you know what happens? This is similar to what I was introduced to in my first writing course in college. I had a really good writing coach. Really, really fine. He wasn't trying to teach us dramatic writing. He's just trying to teach us how to write essays. But he said, I'm going to give you the form of the essay. We'll tell you how to write a thesis statement, how to write the body, how to write the summary, and all that other stuff. Now I want you to write more beautifully. And that's what we worked on. We worked on writing. And so I started looking at really good writers, not just academic writers, because academic writers, dime a dozen. Looking at writers who were really, knew their word craft, knew how to take something and give it rhythm. And now when you do it in prose, you can use an entire string of sentences to create this melodic thing going on. When you're using comics, you're almost well, you're like a screenwriter and like a poet. What we're trying to do is get this little thing right here to get out of here. Am I going to have to? I think I probably should. I'm going to have to use an eraser on it. It's not going to leave me. Or I could just use white. That's a smarter thing to do. Just use white. Yeah. You don't. Yeah. Just use white. I think I'm at that point where I need to. I didn't like that. Okay. Yeah, white's going to work a little bit better than the dodge tool. I'm not so sure like that either. Okay. So run here, start cleaning up using white. Still on the line art, so I can do that. That'll work out. It's not good for just simply softening lines, because what it'll do is obliterate something. It's not. It's either you're either in it or out of it. But you can also use white lines to draw. And so let's look at that. It's starting to get there. It's going to take a while to really clean it up. So I have to go in here and do the same thing. Bring this up here. And I didn't define this. I'll do this later. That is got to be Blue Boy. That is leaning down, seeing whether or not Clifford's alive. I have to give him his hairdo. Well, I'll just redo that. That's simple enough to do. Yep, just make this whole area a big, large shape. Yeah, there's going to be a whole lot of redrawing here. But that's the way it is. If I'd done this on bristle board, that'd probably be a little bit easier. But I didn't want to wait that long. This weekend will probably be the last of my weekend broadcasts. At least I won't. It'll be the last Sunday broadcast. And maybe I won't even do it this Sunday. I need probably a little bit of time off, and I also have classes starting on June 2nd, and so I really need to make sure I got everything up to snuff to start that. Have no idea whether or not they'll be doing online classes or in person. With the fall, they're talking about doing in person, but you never know. Just never know. There are all types of rumors. Nobody knows what's going on. Only the powers that be really know, and they'll tell us when it's proper. We'll probably get a hold of vendors and stuff like that, and figuring out what can or can't be done. Probably burn the midnight oil. Trying to figure out how they can do all these things. Okay. Okay, let me see. I have to really do some redrawing here because it's supposed to be Blue Boy's hand. I have to redraw that hand a little bit. I like kind of clunky drawn hands. Sometimes I like when hands look real, like they were done by a medical illustrator, but other times kind of like the clunky feel to them. Okay. Ooh. That old Clifford's hand right there. Gotta take all that out. Let's go back to white here. White dude, white. Get rid of that. Get rid of this. Carve that out a little bit. Okay, back to Dodge. La 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 la. Okie And I'm also beginning to realize, and I kind of figured this one out a while ago, as I keep developing all this stuff, I keep having to go back and make modifications in pages I've done before. Because I see I should have done this, I should have done that, should have added this, should have added that. It's mostly just the drawing. I don't remember that I've gone in and actually changed the story any. It's just little things like, modify the background, make it a little more complex. Like we're going to go in and probably add a whole lot more trees than I've got. Some of my drawings, at least one of the drawings of a lumber camp, the place is just filthy with trees. I don't have a whole lot of trees here, so I'm going to have to add a whole lot of trees to this chapter, which shouldn't be too difficult. And I'll try to do it on the bristle board. A lot more fun doing it on the bristle board. Okay. This poor guy is taking the pole out of this guy's back. It's probably not a good idea, but who knows anything about medicine out in a lumber camp? Who knows about how to deal with these kind of things? Who does this kind of things? Who knows anything about pike poles in somebody's back? Who'd have thought of this? No way. I have no idea whether or not they employ doctors in lumber camps anymore, but I know that even back in the teens and 20s, compared to now, medicine was more like simple nursing. Heck, in the 19th century, they're still bleeding people. They still bled people back in the 19th century, thinking they had bad blood in them. That's what bad blood cells, that you got bad blood. No, that's what that comes from. If you had bad blood, you either bled the person, so you had a bowl underneath their elbow, and you made a cut into a vein there, and you bled them, or you put leeches on them. That's what in the medieval times, they would put leeches on them, because the leeches would suck their blood. Oh, gosh. That's what killed Raphael. He came in after a night of heavy partying. He was a real party animal. And he felt really bad, and maybe he had the flu. Who knows what the heck is going on. They bled him, and then he died from it. Poor Raphael. I wish he'd lived longer. Oh well, nothing we can do about that. Okay, a little bit in here. Get this all mess. Get this less confusing. Oh, my poor wife is out walking the dog. She's getting soaked. She does the dog walking in the morning, and I do the dog walking at night. Don't like her being out at night. So while I'm doing this, she's walking the dog. Hopefully she's on somebody's front porch. What I do when I get caught in the rain. I run up on somebody's front porch. I never had anybody open up the door and say, "What are you doing out here?" Most everybody in the neighborhood knows me. I've been here 22 years. There's a lot of people who haven't been here for a long time, so they don't know me. Some people don't know me. Good thing about carports. Ooh, you can always run into a carport. Okay. Yeah, this guy's wearing suspenders, but he doesn't have Clifford's fancy Little Rock suspenders, which I mentioned in the novel. I mentioned that Clifford gets his collection of suspenders in Little Rock, which is the capital of Arkansas. But I don't, in the webcomic version, I don't have the opportunity to say that. It's not enough room to go into detail. You'd have the entire page covered with text and you couldn't see the images. So in the print version, though, I'll be using smaller type. And I may be able to mention that he gets his suspenders in Little Rock. Little Rock's not that big a town. It's the biggest town in Arkansas, but it's not a very big town. I haven't been there for a long time. Maybe it's changed. Been there since I was, what, my 20s? I think it's the last time. So that's been a long time. So I'm sure it's changed. Is that doing anything? Not a dang thing. Maybe I'll just use white to get rid of that line there. Get rid of that line there. That there. Get rid of these lines because I'm going to have to want to bring this all up to the actual border. I do a lot of redrawing here. Okay, get this over here on the right. Where that line is. Get rid of that. If I can. Being stubborn. Okay, I can do it down here. I see Kevin Poindexter is watching. Man, have I known Kevin for a long time. Though the first time I ever met Kevin, he had a mullet. Had black hair too. Black hair, and he was still in, I think he was in high school or middle school. And he had real thick hair and it was a mullet. It's back in the 70s, so dang, that's a long time ago. Things have changed, haven't they, Kevin? Boy, things have changed. One thing, the thickness of our hair. My barber is using less and less time to cut my hair every time I go. Okay, I'm using white here. Yeah, I'm using white to get rid of some of these um, artifacts. And soon I'm going to have to really start drawing on top of all this. Get some of these specks out of here. Well, I'm not that opposed to the idea of things looking kind of sketchy in a comic, but you can't overdo it. You got to let the story take precedence, and you just want whatever serves the story, which was, difficult for me. Now, there is a thing called rotate view. I can do that. And then if I want to, maybe it's time for me to, come on, B to D, yeah, line 2. Okay, now get me some black. And then I got this. I'm going to ramp up the size of that. Then I'm going to start. What's the opacity of this? Opacity here. Nope. Gotta be careful with this. This is a reel. This is more like drawing with ink. Okay, increase the size that a bit. Then start filling that thing in. I want Blue Boy's hair to always just be cold black. I was done with no color at all, just black. And that serves to always make him a focal area. And he's sort of like the star of this little thing. It's an ensemble thing. Most of what I'm doing is it's kind of an ensemble thing. Though Blue Boy's got these boys got the qualities that make him into the main character. Okay, now I'm going to have to draw that neck so that it isn't, nobody's got that bull neck. And then probably need to, I'm gonna, get rid of that ear. I'm gonna do it over here. Get rid of the ear down here. redraw that here a bit and redraw all this down here. Okay. Doesn't give you it in the first pass through. Actually, it's not a bad idea to keep some of that so I can at least look and see what I'm up to. Okay. So back to now. Okay. So good old Blue Boy has a bull neck. And especially gets kind of enlarged when he's out there throwing logs around. It's like when he's like you're lifting weights and your muscles get pumped full of blood. When you're lifting weights a lot, you look massive. You don't lift weights a lot, you don't look massive. Okay, now back over there, still on line 2. Build this in where I missed it. Okay, now I'm gonna add the little hair marks that are a part of his hair style, which is governed by the size of a soup bowl. That's why he's got this weird hair style. Nobody else in the family does, but he does. Okay, now, while I'm at it, now down here in the line art, I can get rid of all this. Up here in the line art, I'm gonna have to do that again real carefully. Okay. Okay, now want to go down here into the line art and do what I can to get rid of some of this. Because drawing it upside down, I Didn't really catch on to it that well. This is a 7. Okay, I got this on 7, so I bring it up here. Get rid of some of this. I can come back here in a few minutes after I've drawn. Yeah, I've drawn over it. I can obliterate it. Okay. Bring it up here, go up to line 2, go back down to 7. Size of the brush, go back down to 7, and then I can make this a lot simpler. Okay, and then now I can get rid of all that in the down here in the line, and get rid of all this. Okay, we're just going to get rid of that there because I know what I'm going to do down here. Up here in line 2, just bring this around like that, that. Now, just add my little feathering lines that I use. Let's see what that looks like when I turn it around. Yep. I got it right. My rotation angles, what? Okay. 0, can you imagine? I did it right. Okay, that sort of looks like, yeah, that looks like Blue Boy. Okay. Now let's turn it around again because I want to play around with his hand. Those 2 hands. That's a nice little function of Photoshop, which I never knew that dang thing existed until I saw some live streams of other comic artists using that. It's going, oh, I didn't. Well, I learn something new every day. I'm self-taught when it comes to to Photoshop. When I was teaching Photoshop back in the 90s, it was a lot less complex than it is now. You can do anything with Photoshop now. Photoshop's wild and crazy, man. You can make animated GIFs on it. You had to use a third party back in the 90s to make animated GIFs. Animated GIFs aren't used that much anymore, except maybe on Facebook for those, you don't want to use an emoji. Okay. Little few of those little sketching artifacts out of there. And he's got his head on top of Clifford's hand, on top of Clifford's head. Want to clean that up a little bit. Clean that line. In fact, what I should really do is just get rid of that line altogether. And draw it up here. Draw it very carefully. Probably should turn this like this so I can get a good idea what Clifford's face should look like. And clean this up. So it becomes a simple line. Little areas around here. I'm over on the, I'm on the line art. I can always redraw this. I have problems with it. Okay. And I don't like that ear. Okay. Okay, back up to line 2. Okay. Okay. So it's starting to have some graphic qualities that are good. Thick and thin lines. Not just thick lines everywhere, but a combination of thick lines and little spots, which I derived from Rembrandt. Always steal from the best stores. And Leonardo. I'm not comparing myself to either one of those giants. One picks and chooses from the storehouse of great things, and then you just make it your own. So I would look at that and say, Rembrandt, I don't see Rembrandt in that. I just see you doing that. Yep, that's the way it's supposed to be. I'm interested in mimicking any great artist. I just want to learn, take a little bit out of their grab bag and use what I have to. I can redraw that. Okay. So up here in line 2, go back to black. Clifford's characteristic design on his suspenders, which enables me to always identify him for the. Let me see if I can do this with just the dodge tool. I think I can. Want to get rid of that thing right there and maybe lighten this up. Now go up here to line art. And okay. Okay, bring the hand. I just use the trackpad for this. Okay. Let's start the gel. Let me see if I'll add the border to this, because in the other drawings I've had a kind of a blackish border to these suspenders. So I should continue that here. Okay. Probably should lighten that up. That should not be so. Just get rid of it and redraw it. Yeah. Bring it up here in the line 2. Still got my black, and then just oh. You guys got soaked, right? Oh boy. Not much way you can undo Florida weather. You can get soaked occasionally. Well, where am I? What am I doing? Line 2. I should just save this thing. Okay, back to. Okay. 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 So I should probably rotate this thing again. Okay, back to 0. Back to the hand tool. Okay, he's looking good. So is Blue Boy. Okay, now let's work on his compadre, the guy who's taking the pike pole out of his I don't know if I wanted to make it obscure or when I color it, it's gonna be a little bit of blood. That's the way it is. And so darken that tip somewhat. Bring this over here. Okay. Okay. D. And I'm gonna have to redraw that hand. It doesn't look much like a hand. It looks more like he stuck some bananas around a pole or something. So let's go down here and stop doing that to me. Yeah, like that. Huh. it's itchy. So down here in line art, I'm gonna obliterate that hand a bit, not completely. Give it some, let it gray out. And still give me my clunky hand here. Okay. Now let's see if I can fix that up here. And then I should draw that little finger coming up here, and that means I have to go down here, get rid of that section right here. That's not what I want to do. Rid of that section right there. Well, that didn't work out very well either. That looks better. Okay. And then let's bring that up. It's going to look clunky. I'm kind of a clunky artist anyway. Okay. Now it makes this guy look like he's wearing gloves. Okay. That didn't work out too bad. Okay. This guy's wearing suspenders, but a lot of lumberjacks wear suspenders. Hold on a second, sweetie. Okay, I'll be back in a second. I got to run a little errand for my wife. We're going to put this on mute. Okay, so I'm back. Now, we're up there, black. Okay, I'm just drawing. Okay. So this didn't turn out too badly. This turned out okay. I didn't have to do too much to it. I can do a little bit of my line feathering, which I'm so proud of. Well, I'm fond of it. I'm so proud of it. I didn't invent it. Anyway, and so pretty good shape here. Okay. So, boo, what happened there? Gee. Um, let me bring this out. See what the heck thing looks like. Okay. Starting to get there. I want to redraw Blue Boy's hand here. So take out some of that. And Blue Boy is not wearing, he's wearing gloves, but he's not wearing. In fact, I need to fix that part he's not wearing. He's wearing gloves, so no fingernails. So up there in the line art, line 2, with the artifacts for wearing gloves, and then I'll down here, and I'll get rid of that right there, which means he's wearing gloves. I'm gonna go up here and redraw some of this stuff. I think that's the way I want it. We need to redraw that arm right there. Not going to do me any harm. Okay. Now let me see if I could just turn this a bit. It's a little more natural to pull this line than to push it. Get a slightly more undulating line that makes a little more sense. You don't want to over-define it. I'm not showing off the boy's physique right now. And turn it back again. Okay. Okay. Then bring this back like this. This here. Then I have to redraw this entire boot. So I'll do that. Okay. Bring it up here. Then and I got to get rid of that right there. That right there here has to go because his boot is underneath all that. Okay. D. Okay. Now, okay, I'm getting to the point where this thing is just a matter of refinement. Which is when you, as an artist, this is when you start to become a very little happy camper. Because all you have to do is to refine what you've been doing. That means you're about to enter into the fun part of this, where the work is starting to pay off and you're starting to look at it and saying, well, it's a good thing I got up this morning. Okay, time to refine. I should probably bring that out. Yep. Which means I gotta get rid of that right there. Yep. And then very carefully draw that back in. Carefully draw this. That was real careful, wasn't it? Okay, got to get rid of this line here. What's that? That is here? Oh, that's his ear. Well, maybe I can redraw that ear. That ear looks more like Spock's ear. My boy's not a Vulcan. Okay. And so I'll draw like that. I can thicken that there. Little parts where you can thicken a line, give it more definition, and start to make it really work as all the way it's supposed to. This I'm going to leave fairly undefined. Okay, so up over here, when I color these, I'm going to do all types of stuff to them. I'm going to do my Venetian thing. It's really where I'm going to put in all the shadows. I'm not going to worry about that with black and white, but I need to at least define these rocks, which are becoming sort of like a motif for me. Then I have to clean up these trees. I think this line here is way too distinct. Yeah, it's too distinct. Well, okay. And then clean a little bit of this up right here. Yeah, I shouldn't have to. Yeah, I don't have to worry about that. It just becomes boy, I'm starting to have fun. Where am I? Where's my? I just love the fact that I'm an hour and 57 minutes in this. I have not had even a smidgen of technical problems. Getting rid of Bluetooth solved all my technical problems. Bluetooth was the culprit. Oh boy, I better to learn 3 weeks into it than to never learn it at all. I didn't like that. Okay, now over here in line art. Keep on playing around with my feathering effect. I don't know if I like that. I'll leave that alone. Moving around. These are little places where you start to create the tension. Comes with these little spots that get your eyes to dance. Your eyes can dance just like your body can dance. That is what rhythm in art making is all about, getting part of your body to move in conjunction with whatever you're being shown. Gotta draw another little rock here. My first rotary phone. Whoa. Boo, 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 boo. So I'm going to have to clean up my trees. The trees are not, um, they're not cool right now. So I'll put a white over them that are going to turn them into my ghosties. That's my line art, so this will work. It'll give me a guide for all I want to do to those trees. I get that later. And do it over here too. And by doing that, we define the edge of Blue Boy's back. Okay. Obliterated some of his rolled up sleeve, but I'll fix that. Okay, getting there. Ooh, now take a swig of coffee. Very important. Now, up here in line, I think we're gonna. Okay, I'm gonna get my black, and then I'm gonna thicken it a little bit. Ooh, 20? Nah. Yeah, make it a 10, and then I'm going to very lightly create these trees. I'm gonna bring them all the way up till they go beyond the border. Got a border up here. I can't draw beyond it, but I don't know that until I get to it. Okay, well, I got the back side of that. Okay, let's establish blue boys. I should do that over here too before I forget it. Okay. Okay. So now I have to create all the effects that come with trees. Now what I might do is I might just leave the grayness of this underdrawing in there. See if it can be used. I can always get rid of it later if I don't like it. Which means I don't merge these layers. I keep them discrete for right now. All right, no, back over this tree right here. And this comes down like that. Be a rock in front of it. And then okay, now put this limb over here. Da 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 do. A limb coming up here. What do we got here? Interesting. Okay, let's go to the top panel. Bottom panel. Result. So I'm just completely cuckoo. I think this, well, I could do a few things to it. Up over here. I'm looking at my monitor. Looking interesting. And over here, that gives me doing down my thing down here enables me to get an idea how I should deal with this, which is these lines are quite buzzy in a dry point kind of way, which I'm not necessarily wanting that. I kind of like that. I don't think I have to mess with that any. But this, I might want to. Try redrawing some of that. First, get over here. Redraw Clifford's head a little bit. There's his ear. Don't really want to see his face. We'll see that later. Huh. See if that actually works. That's not as obscure as it was. Which means I can use color, create all this density here instead of just black and white. Oops. Let's redo that. When I do that, get rid of all that so I can actually see it. Uh, hmm. And let's redraw that right there. That doesn't work. Okay. Now we're gonna. Yeah, I'm just gonna. Yeah, by doing that, I turn the head a little bit more. Yeah, do it like that. Boob, boob. And I wanna, I think, down here, I wanna. Oh, that's not what I did. Okay. Might wanna. Yep. Give it a little bit of. Yeah, give a little bit of a ruffle to that. Okay, starting to get there. So it means I can probably do the same thing. So that was a little experiment here, up here. Don't want to mess too much with the pike pole, but the rest is too fuzzy. Okay. Ooh doo doo ooh, ooh doo doo doo. Okay. Okay, I want that to. I think I can see how I want that going. Thicken that line a little bit. Bring this over here and really establish the side of his. Okay. A lot of all this is going to be um, defined by color. You can do amazing things with just color. Goya once said, I see no line, all I see is color. So that really stuck with me. That, I love Spanish art. Love Spanish art. Goya is just tremendous. Okay. Let me see if I can get rid of some of that. Maybe I should leave that alone. Down here, And bring this up here and redraw here. Okay. A few emphatic marks here to sort of establish that. Okay. 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 Starting to like this a little bit more, and I'm glad I fixed some of that stuff up. So I could probably go in here and clean up that silhouette here, which is the thing that's bothering me, the fuzziness of those lines. I'll make them more distinct. Yep, like that. Yeah, I can redraw that somewhat. Yeah, that works. Hmm. Bring it down here. I need to be able to see this all the way to the top of that panel. Okay, now I'm real dissatisfied with old Leroy here. So I'm gonna do what I did with some of Blue Boy and put a white over that, but make it ghostly, just a gray. That way I can redraw all this, still have a good idea of what was underneath it, and make it all better. I'm not unsatisfied. I'm not dissatisfied with the lower portion of his body. This is okay. I can fix that. It's the upper portion that was bugging me. And I should increase the size of that so I can actually see what I'm doing. You're not going to see this. In the final version, it's too small. It'll just drop out. But Okay. Okay. I'll bring up his. Okay, now I'll get to. Let me see. Huh. Let me see. Okay, let me see. Okay, get rid of some of this. See what it actually looks like. And then I can play around with thick and thin lines and all that other stuff. Okay, that's starting to look like something. Like cleaning up an area. Okay. Then when I put watercolor over this, it's really gonna start to toot its horn. Okay. Okay. Clean up a few of these lines here. Rid of some of the artifacts of scanning. Draw the edges here. Edge there. I'll get rid of that line that comes up there. And then top of that, I'll do some drawing. Okay, wow. Now start to match this upper and this lower by thickening and thinning lines. I wonder if I should. Yeah, I probably should. Make that pant leg underlap his backside. Otherwise, they look like they're up next to each other. Okay. Make these lighter lines so that Clifford stays in the foreground. What am I doing? Okay. Then I can I'll move that line over a bit so there's no confusion there. I got rid of some of this grayness here. Not needed. Go back up here. Accentuate this line. Okay. Okay, what's that looking like? That's coming together. So let's play around with this. And make sure I got this guy exactly where I want him. He's sort of like he's the main actor for that little section of the. Okay, so just make this guy's face be covered in black until I'll create a few silhouettes here. I'm just putting a silhouette behind the in front of this guy's hand, so it becomes a little more obvious what this hand is up to. That it's semi-folded. Yep. Okay. Those are well drawn enough. I can maybe I should fix the brim of this guy's hat. Just redraw it in the upper layer so it's not just so chunky. Okay. Let's clean up a little bit of this over here. Some of this is a little dirty. No, 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 no. Well, I can redraw that. Do it up here. Yes, that's bad. Well, I did it again. Redraw. Okay. Redraw it. Okay. Now, should fix these guys over here. These two guys. This guy here. This guy here. This guy, the lower guy. He just has to be redrawn. He's a mess. He's like a 3-year-old's drawing, but sometimes I do that. We each have that little inner child who likes to say, I want to scribble. Let me scribble, please. Scribble, scribble, scribble. So I'll get rid of my scribbly boy. Drawing something a little more appropriate there. Okay. Now bring this up. Get on line 2. And we'll draw this guy. me see. Okay, now this guy. We'll be doing this for 3 hours. Dang. Well, let's get this guy and then we'll resume this tomorrow. I just need the edges to this guy be redone. Like a hand needs to be messed with. Maybe just the edges of his arm, not necessarily the interior. Let's try that. I got more rain coming in. I hate it when the forecasts are so accurate. Dang. Okay. Mess around with this tree, might as well. Okay. Look at that tree over there. I think I'm going to leave the artifacts of that first layer in there. Where am I? Okay. So I think what I'm going to do here is instead of trying to draw that in, I'm going to clone it in. I can Well, what's going on with you? I have my first problem with the Wacom tablet. Let's probably fix it. Nope. This may be my swan song for the day. Maybe when I just say, okay, I've had enough. Uh, hmm. Okay. Yep, she's frozen up on me. Well, after, I guess, 3 hours and 8 minutes, there's a limit to these things. Where is my... Okay. So, what I wanted? Okay, that's where I am so far. Which is not a bad place to stop. I can always just, yeah. So I'm going to have to reboot everything and just so I got my trackpad and pad. That's fine. So I got a lot of work done today, and I did it all from my old sketchbook. So it doesn't look too bad. So that'd be interesting. See how I come up with it tomorrow. So it's not what I wanted you to do. Trackpads are not wonderful. I don't love them. So this is Blue Boy Brown, The Adventures of a Family by David Greg Taylor. So we'll be back tomorrow at 10 a.m. Right, in Bushy Tailed, and we'll see if we can finish this thing up, which is looking okay. I've cleaned it up pretty well, and so I will see you tomorrow. Probably still be raining. So yeah, there are worse things. So Hmm. So y'all stay safe. Don't take any wooden nickels because they're fake. They don't make wooden nickels anymore. I don't even think they hardly make nickels anymore. Won't cover that national debt, that's for sure. So tomorrow I'll be back at 10 a.m. It's 1:10. You all have a good day, and I am out of here.